Going on YouTube, Global here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be recapping the results from the Sacramento Regionals. So we got some things to look at, and the meta is going to be pretty interesting for the next 3 weeks or so leading into the big Toronto Regionals in the middle of December. We still have some events in between. For example, we still have Perth Regionals, we still have Stuttgart coming up, for example, and a couple more other events that are also sandwiched in from here now, Sacramento into Toronto. So we'll be keeping our eyes on those, but this was the first big one because, again, this is now the tail end of the format. So the results here will often dictate how play comes afterwards. And again, Toronto is the big culminating one before we start into Regulation G. I think there's still a couple more things after Toronto, but like these are smaller locals and events and whatnot. But Regulation G is 2.0 is on the horizon. But first, we still have things to play for within Regulation H, and we still get more meta development. Like, we're at the point right now where still new results are happening, and that's good, right? That means we really had a diverse format. And honestly, you know, I know people are not happy with how Sneasler has transpired over the last month or so, but it was in fact a pretty diverse format, and we'll tell like an overall story of Regulation H when it comes time in December. But for now, let's focus on Sacramento. Let's focus on what happened here this weekend. So as always, we're going to look at usage rate because that's often step one in our story, right? In terms of the results of a regional. Then we'll look at some of the top cut teams, and then we'll look at some of the archetypes overall and some of the variances that some of these teams had, because even though the core is the same, a couple of tech choices and 1 or 2 niche mods make all the difference in how the team is played. And then we'll look at some niche Pokemon and, you know, some other interesting, slightly off-meta teams at the end of the video, like we always do, because we always love those. That's like the bread and butter of the channel a little bit, besides the team building, is looking at niche Pokemon and see how they function and do their role within a particular squad. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at day 1 into day 2 usage rates. All right, we'll start here from day 1. So Sneasler, Goldango, and Rillaboom, as expected, 1, 2, and 3. No surprise there, but Incineroar continues to do well, right? And the fact that it's rising even now at this point in the format is a little bit interesting. And note the King Gambit declined yet again. So this is now 2 events in a row where the Gambit has been on a decrease overall, right? For a long mainstay, Gambit was within the top 3, top 4, top 6. And now we're outside of the top 6 for the Gambit. Still very good and high usage, of course, right? But nowhere near where it once was throughout the beginning and the middle of the format. And that's probably because of these guys, the Bears. The Bears are here, okay? Blood Moon and the regular Ursaluna. And that's part of the highlight here in terms of the usage rate here. You know, you've got 2 strong ground types that are going to do a lot of damage into this Gambit. So, of course, it's going to decline there. And people are going to be looking elsewhere besides something like the Gambit. And, you know, over here with the Rillaboom, 31%, Goldango 33%, Sneasler still here at 42%. You know, that's still a mainstay, as we said. Archaludon and Dragonite almost virtually equal. And again, you know, the Dragonite is so versatile, this regulation. Nice to see it be consistent throughout, you know, whether it be beginning or up until now. And it's probably going to stay that way as we head into Toronto and throughout the last month of December. So shout outs to Dragonite for being quite strong in these last 4 months here. And then Pelipper, of course, is going to be also very high usage along with Archaludon, and this will probably carry into Regulation G a little bit, right? Because remember the Pelipper, Calyrex, Ice Rider teams, that will probably come back a little bit in the early get-go. And then over here, Basculegion at 12th place here. So it's not necessarily that the Basculegion's on the rain teams, but it's also the Choice Scarf adaptability set. That also has good usage. So, you know, I'm not surprised here to see the Basculegion in the graphic here. And then Amoonguss, pretty solid, consistent mainstay here, 18%, you know, at 8th place over here. No, 9th place actually. So again, that's the main story here from day 1. Again, you know, both Bears are now in the top 12. And I thought we would see this in the last event, but you know, in LAIC, but now we get to see it actually here in Sacramento. So would that be the same story in day 2? Let's take a look here, and it is the same exact thing. Now, the one thing that I will note here, look at this. Look at the conversion of Incineroar, 30% to 37% now. Now you're starting to creep up into the Goldango second place here. And now look at Rillaboom dropping out of the top 3. You haven't seen this, okay? Throughout the entire format, Rillaboom was always top 3. But now for the first time, you know, we're seeing it outside of the top 6. That's very, very interesting. And the fact that we have Incineroar now claiming that 3rd place makes a lot of sense. Okay, but both bears are still here in the top 12. Gambit dropping even further. So now we're going from 20% out of the 20 percentile. Still Basculegion holding on to that last spot here. Amoonguss, good conversion rate there, 18% to 27%. Now re-entering the top 6 graphic. And then, you know, Dragonite and Archaludon, both high usage here and plus 30%. And again, it's not that the Archaludon are just really only on those Pelipper rain teams. You can play the Arc right now outside of the rain. You could play with that Power Herb set, okay, where you're not reliant on the Pelipper, and that's totally fine too. That means the Pokemon is very, very flexible. And I wonder if we'll see it that way in Regulation G once again. But Miraidon providing terrain was really, really good. Okay, as well as Kyogre stuff, right? So we'll have to see what happens there with the Archaludon set as we head back into Regulation G. But don't be surprised if we get a little bit more variance in 2.0 Regulation G versus the previous Regulation G. Okay, but other than that, Sneasel back again, 51% usage. That's usually been the story now this last month or so. It'll always be high 40s in day 1, and then in day 2, high 50s. Not high 50s, low 50s here, cracking that percentile yet again. So that's pretty consistent. Goldango, again, another consistent 2nd place here. Again, Sneasel has a little bit of trouble breaking through the Goldango. That's why they adopted that Dark move, which is Throat Chop here. And then, of course, the Terra Dark option to avoid the Expanding Force shenanigans from the Indeedee males that have also been rising along with the Indeedee pairing. After that, again, you know, you don't see Garchomp anymore, or Dragapult for that matter. Those two have fallen out of the big 4, but they're still high in usage, just not within the top 12 here. So yeah, and then there's no Volcarona or Electabuzz here. I thought we might see at least one of them here, but there was a lot of Electabuzz in general, and even though it's outside of the top 12, I still think it's within the top 15. So we'll have to take a look more in Lab Mouse when that becomes available, but I'm pretty sure that was the case there. But overall, yeah, I mean, it's all about the bears right now. Look, you've got Dragonite, and you've got this thing, so you can Earthquake next to it, okay? And then you've got the Doug idea with Dragonite, Ursaluna, and Goldango. That's another mainstay. So, you know, this is what we're dealing with as we head into these next last few events throughout December. So just pay attention to that. And again, don't sleep on the other weathers, right? I know you don't see Torkoal or Ninetales here, but there were plenty top cut teams with the Torkoal and the Ninetales, and we're gonna look at that, you know, as we head into the recap data. All right, so that's it for our usage rates. Let's look at the teams and let's see what happened. Okay, let's start right here. These 4. This is like your premier hyper offensive team right now, and we spoke about these 4 in many of our other videos throughout the last month or so. It started like this. You got Talonflame, your Tailwind setter. Then you click the Expanding Force button on this Indeedee, right? And you also have Terrain Control as an advantage for your team. And then over here, you've got the Blood Moon Ursaluna with, again, just Blood Moon and Hyper Voice. And this is usually on this type of team, you don't run the Assault Vest. You actually go back to the traditional Life Orb set where you're just dealing tons of damage and picking up a lot of KOs, right? Because, you know, when you have the Assault Vest here, you end up missing a lot of the KOs, especially against Archaludon, right? So, but then you add the Life Orb, and now all of a sudden you can pick up those KOs, and you force them to re-EV their Arc, right? Because a lot of them, up until recently, a lot of physical bulk to try and survive the Sneasel, but now you add the Blood Moon back into the meta, and now you have to readjust those EVs a little bit, and if you want to survive the Blood Moon, Life Orb, Earth Power, you need to invest a little bit more into your special defense. But with the Assault Vest, you actually don't need to reinvest that much because you have the AV, and that's more than enough to really survive the Earth Power without the Life Orb here. But now you go back to this set, now you're super aggressive, and now this Sneasel has the Psychic Seed with the Dark move. Okay, and usually, and again, this is Throat Chop here, along with the Terra Dark option for a little bit more damage, and you don't take Expanding Force damage in itself. Speaking of that, sometimes you'll see Imprison over here along with Trick Room if they want to deny all of that entirely. And these Talonflames, there'll always be something like this with Covert Cloak and usually a dual wing beat along with the Tailwind set. Now, dual wing beat, a little bit more preferred right now over the Brave Bird because this breaks Focus Sash. And you already know what has Sash. Stuff like Sneasler, some Whimsicots, for example. They don't like that if you do have a dual wing beat. So that's how you get around the Sash idea. So that's a little bit more preferred. But anyway, it's just these 4. And then these last 2 slots, they always have a little bit of variance. You'll always get something like this with the Electabuzz. And then you'll have something like either Archaludon, then you'll have something like Dragonite, for example. I've even seen something like Incineroar for that matter, if you want to play that direction. But either way, the buzz has been pretty good, because again, Electro Web really good into something like Charizard and Pelipper teams. They don't want to be taking Electro Webs because then you'll get the speed advantage against them. Vital Spirit really, really good at redirecting Amoonguss Spore shenanigans. And then at the same time, you always have something like Taunt here, and again, it's a fast taunt too, right? So you can always get something against some of these setup mons, force the Amoonguss to switch out, for example. The Porygon, you can taunt the Porygon for that matter. And then the Incineroar just does Incineroar things, right? Fake out, knock off, parting shot, weaken the opponent, and reposition yourself, with some of this other stuff. So, but it always starts with this 4, right? And now if we go back to Sacramento, from the results from Pokédata, this is what Carson Comfer had on the winning team. So look at this: Sneasler, Talonflame, Indeedee, Blood Moon, Ursaluna. You start with these 4, and the Indeedee Expanding Force, Trick Room, Protect with Helping Hand. So no Imprison, that's okay. But the Electabuzz is the set that we said, with E-Webs, Follow Me, Redirection Support, and Taunt. The Blood Moon is that Life Orb set for a little bit more damage, and you have your defensive backbone with the Incineroar, right? So Fake Out, Knock Off, Flare Blitz now, along with Parting Shot. So nice to see this here from Carson Comfort. Then if you look in 3rd place, Marcus Dion, same team, right? So this will be like the mainstay hyper offensive team that you're going to see in online limitless tournaments. You'll see them, in-person locals, throughout the next few weeks or so. So if you need something to pick up, definitely pick up this team, but be prepared to play against the mirror matchup, of course, right? And then down here in 11th place, still the same idea, but now you add the Archaludon over the Incineroar, and now you have another solid special attacker that definitely enjoys the Tailwind support. Electro Shot with the Power Herb, of course, is the way to go because there is no Pelipper here, and then you still have your 2 stabs in Draco Meteor and Flash Cannon. So you can definitely play it like this if you so choose. So 3 of these Talonflame, Blood Moon offensive teams within the top 16. So that's very noteworthy. And then as you scroll down here, there were a couple more. And that's okay. That's good. Because again, that means there's some variance here. Right over here at 42nd place. This we already know, okay? You could still use those 4 and then slap on Dondozo Tatsugiri. And 8-3 result is a very good result. So if you want to play that mode, you can definitely play that mode too. Otherwise, if you scroll down here a little bit more, there was another way to also run this. It was like 60-something place over here. Yeah, this one. All right, so this one has the Dragonite in place of the Archaludon / Incineroar slot, right? So you get Haze on your side, Scale Shot, and Stomping Tantrum over here. So the D-Knight also looks pretty good here in this slot. Again, Scale Shot, really, really good. You just outspeed things later on. You do a ton of damage, and then you just go from there, right? So lots of different ways to play it, but at least the 4 pretty much stay the same throughout. So if you want to pick up Blood Moon Hyper Offense, now's the time to do it. Okay, let's talk about Sun teams for a second because we did see Sun from Joseph Ugarte take 2nd place there. But before we look at his team, I want to talk about the structure of some of these Sun teams themselves. So this way you can create your own if you want. But you got to have a Sun setter and you got to have a Sun abuser. That's like step 1, of course. So you're either doing this the Typhlosion way or you're doing this the Charizard way. And one or the other, right? You don't want to have both on the team. Otherwise, that's the same role. Then you have either the Whimsicott Prankster Sunny Day idea or you have just the Chlorophyll Jumpluff Sunny Day idea. So either one works. But then you might even have the Torkoal on your team as well, just for like manual Sun, for example, with the Drought. And then this usually has like a Trick Room mode, with the Porygon setting Trick Room idea. But it depends. You don't always have to go that direction. But let's take a look at some of those squads here. Nope, not that one. Right here. So let's look at Joe's team. Joe's been using this squad for like ever, these last couple months or so. Maybe make some changes. Looks like there's a couple. But overall, it's more or less the same way that you want to play this, right? So you've got the Jumpluff here, with Tailwind, Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm, Encore. Oh, okay. All right, so no Sunny Day even, right? Because you've got the Eject Pack Torkoal here, and then here's your Sun Nuker with the Typhlosion clicking, Choice Specs Eruption, right? That we already know, and then the Covert Cloak just gets around the Fake Out, gets around Sneasel Shenanigans. We already know this. Then you add the Double Dragon Core with Garchomp and Dragonite here, and look at this. You've got Scale Shot, Extreme Speed, Ice Spinner, again blowing up terrain. So forget about your your Indeedee and your Rillabooms and the occasional Misty Surge, Misty Terrain setters. Right, that goes bye-bye when you click Ice Spinner. And then, of course, Chomp very comfortably can click Earthquake next to the D-Knight and as well as next to the Jump Up because, again, you are a flying type. And also next to the Gambit, so don't be shy about that either. And, of course, the Torkoal with the Eject Pack. Again, once you click Overheat, you get your stat drop. Then you just get out of town and then you bring something else in. And then the Torkoal can come back later and do what it needs to do. And, in the Trick Room matchup, then you can just bring your own Torkoal that can thrive under that condition and start clicking Burning Jealousy and Overheat, right? Burning Jealousy is such a cool tech, right? Because there's so much stat raising going on, in this format, especially with setup, that if you just click Burning Jealousy, then you get to punish them for that and then just burn them and then they take, chip damage over time. So I really like that on the Torkoal here. And of course, you can always click Helping Hand if you want to make your ally do more damage. And don't forget that this is a Terra Flying Torkoal, so you can even do this next to Garchomp because then you can click Earthquake next to it. So I like Joe's team. It's really, really strong. It's just in the finals, he just missed one too many overheats on his Torkoal. One, maybe like three. But that is the game we play. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. He still had another fantastic run, another second place finish from Joe. But again, great job overall with this squad. He's really mastered it to its fruition. All right, but then as we scroll down, then we get some other ideas in terms of your Sun teams. What else can I do? Look at Brian Collins' team. Right? This pretty much looks like the Tapo Wapo team that we featured on the channel a few weeks ago, right? Where it had the Brave Mousehold here. I don't know if Brian used the same team or maybe he changed some spreads, but I don't even know if he has the Mousehold that's Brave, but there it is. Okay, and then it's just your typical Hard Trickums team stuff, right? Indeedee, Hydreigon, Torkoal, Ursaluna. Then here's the Gallade here, which is great against stuff like Incineroar and stuff like King Gambit that can give the team a little bit of issue, right? So that's pretty cool in itself. And it's really rare to see like Hard Trickum do so well at this level, right? So like usually they'll get points, right? They'll definitely get points and they will do well. But this well, like within just basically almost top 8, 9th place over here, you usually don't see that out of Hard Trickum. So that's really cool here from Brian Collins. So this is another way to play Sun. You can do like the Hard Trickum way with Torkoal Sun, but this is more like a Hard Trickum team rather than like a Sun team in general. But I just wanted to at least point it out there because there is other ways to use the Torkoal besides like the balance way with the eject pack stuff, right? So then we go down here to Carter, and this is like manual Sun, right? You've got Whimsicott clicking Sunny Day, and then you've got the Typhlosion way, right? But this is only like one mode of the team. There's other ways to play this team. Look, you even have the return of Farigiraf here, clicking Trick Room, denying priority against you. So again, think about Sucker Punch King Gambit going into Typhlosion. That already just cripples it. But then you take away priority by adding the Farigiraf here on switching. Something like an Indeedee can also help you, but the Farigiraf can also exert some offense here with Throat Spray, Hyper Voice here, right? So that's also something to consider. And then you still have your typical Blood Moon stuff. So this is like a Sun mode, but not really like a Sun team, right? But again, it is part of it. So I still wanted to at least mention these couple of squads here. All right. Then as you scroll down, then we'll start getting into some of the meat of some of these Sun teams. So look down here at 49th place. This one from Jonathan Durn. Look at this. Charizard, Torkoal, Jumpluff, right? Then you add something like Bronzong over here for your Trick Room set. Instead of something like Porygon, instead of Farigiraf, we add Bronzong. I was waiting for Bronzong to be used in Regulation H. Sorry. My mind is already on G because I'm already like starting to plan for that a little bit. But look at this. You've got Trick Room, Gyro Ball, right? That's pretty standard. But then you've got Ice Spinner, Bronzong. I didn't even know Bronzong got Ice Spinner. Okay, then you have Stealth Rock here. And remember how we featured Stealth Rock Clefairy on the channel? Stealth Rock is so punishing against the mirror, right? Because the Charizard gets destroyed, the Volcaronas get destroyed, Instant Torkoals get destroyed, Pelipper gets its sash broken, Dragonite gets multi-scale broken. So lots of ideas with Stealth Rock, all things considered, but Mental or Bronzong, so you can't even taunt this thing, right? So if you want to bring your Electabuzz and taunt the Bronzong, that guy got news for you. Jonathan says, no way, because I've got the Mental Herb here. So you've got Trick Room that can make the Torkoal and Ursaluna thrive under those conditions. And then, of course, the Incineroar is just relatively solid overall. So it's almost like some adjustments, you know, with the Porygon idea, with the Jump Bluff and the Torkoal stuff, right? So that's pretty cool from Jonathan. 8-3 result is fantastic. We need to feature this team, Jonathan. So if you're watching, I want to bring Bronzong to the Clover Bells YouTube channel. Okay, as we go down more, look at this, 53rd, 54th, more Sun shenanigans with Whimsicott Sunny Day and Typhlosion clicking Eruption, right? This is going to be another mainstay, another type of hyper offensive team. So, you know, we had the premier one with Talonflame, Blood Moon, okay, with the Needy Caesar, but this is another way to do it. So Michael Aguirre, great job there. Then down here, look at this. Does that look familiar? Of course. This is the team that people were trying to prep for, you know, leading into this, especially after LAIC. You know, again, Marco's squad, again, from Japan as well, right? So this is what we thought we might see a little bit more of, but only right here in 49th place. No, not 49th. I'm sorry. Where are you? In the 50s, right? So in the 50s, we start to see this, but I thought we would see this a little bit higher. But given the conditions, there were a lot more rain teams in Top Cut, so they were better prepared for this sun stuff, right? So then as we go down to 57th place over here, still again, now you add Smeargle to this stuff, right? And now this just gets a little bit more crazy. But again, more Whimsicott, Tailwind Sun. We saw more Whimsicott stuff than we saw like Manual Sun stuff. So that's always interesting. Then as you scroll down to 75th, 76, 77, right? 7-4 teams right here. So we've got Calvin, Keanu, and Emmanuel. Look at this. So now we've got more Ferrograph stuff here with Blood Moon Ursaluna. Then you've got Torkoal, Zard, and Hisuian Lilligant. Don't forget about the Lilligant, guys. This is another way to take advantage of the sun. You can just do after your eruption stuff, old school VGC, but then you can also power up your Scarf. This is a Scarf Zard, by the way, not even specs. So, you know, if your Electabuzz is meant for Timid to try and outspeed the Zard, now you just add a Scarf to Zard, forget about the specs, and now I outspeed your Electabuzz. So now you're in trouble. This is why you might also have to go Terra Dragon rather than Ghost on your Buzz, but to each their own, and, you know, pros and cons to both. Then you've got Hisuian or Arcade. Look at this. This could be a Blood Moon in the back because they both have Hyper Voice. Okay, that's often a little bit scary, but this is another pretty cool way to play Sun. So Calvin, great job here. Then Keanu, of course, using Marco's Sun team. So good job, Keanu. Again, another proud representative of the Clover Academy. And then from here, Emmanuel, right? And now we add Goldengo. This was also pretty interesting, right? You got Dragonite, Charizard, P2, Torkoal, Ursaluna, right? Some familiar ideas, but then you add Goldengo here. And this is like another Doug idea, right? You got Dragonite, regular Ursaluna, and Goldengo. So this is pretty interesting in itself. So again, some variance in how you want to play Sun, but, you know, again, it's just dependent on your sweeper and it's dependent on your setter. And then other stuff can kind of come afterwards, but at least some of the skeleton that we've shown you is the same. All right, now how about we look at rain? So you knew this would be another major archetype heading into Sacramento, and it always is in every regional because Archaludon is that good, and its partner Pelipper is also that good. So here's your main core, right? One of your main cores, Arc, Pelipper, Among Us, Vascular Legion. This core is still solid since the beginning of August up until now. These last two slots are always your variant slots depending on how you want to play the team, but you always have these four. This is like one of the major cores. The other major core was the one that started to rise from Japan, the Rizabat team, which was the Sinistra idea along with the regular Ursaluna. You can also play the team like this, and then after that, it was usually something like this with the Goldengo. That was the Choice Scarf idea to make this thing super fast with Trick, and then you also had the Dragonite over here. Just again, another target that you can Earthquake next to besides either the Pelipper, right? So this was your two main cores, and then you had some other cores that also worked with Archaludon Rain, and we'll spotlight those at the same time because it's not just all about these two. There were other ones that did well, but these were like the two common ones, the ones that are on like everyone's radar. So let's peep back into Poke Data. So let's look at this here. So as we go down here, I'm not gonna not yet, not that one. That was the Palafin team. But right here, okay. Guys, look at this. 10th place here from Chase Mateo. I've been saying this in every single recap video. If there was a team right now that I had to recommend to someone that wanted to say, Clover, give me a team, I've got a local coming up, I'm gonna recommend this one every single time. I've said this in almost a lot of our videos, because this team was made back in late August, and it is now almost December. We're in the last week of November. It is 4 months, and this team is still good even right now. Amazing, because you just have so much balanced play into everything. Your Incineroar Amoonguss is your defensive backbone. You have the offense from the Basculegion in the rain from Pelipper. You also have other strong special attackers here in your Goldengo and Archaludon. You got a couple of win conditions, okay? And that's what's really good. The Incin, the Amoonguss, and the Pelipper are your support options. You've got your speed control, okay? You've got your Trick Room matchup. And then you have your balanced play, you know, based on how you want to bring your options. So you have a lot, you know, into a lot of different things. So I like this 6, you know, even right now. So it's still going to be true as you head into Toronto, okay? There's always going to be a few of that 6. So that's already the first thing. Then we right here, this one, right, from Aaron Brock. 8th place here, okay? The other one was 10th place. This is what we're talking about. This is the Rizabeth team, you know, with, again, Choice Scarf, Goldengo, Terra Dark Sinistra with the Berry, okay? The Loaded Dice Dragonite with Tailwind and Haze, okay? The AV Arc with Snarl, okay? And then the Ursaluna that has Earthquake here. How about the Wide Guard from the Pelipper, okay? Rather than the Tailwind on the Pelipper. Now you just put this on the Dragonite and you replace the Tailwind with Wide Guard. That's a good adjustment there. You know, I don't know if that was the original idea. We'll have to peep that in a second. Yeah, I am looking at it, and I did remember correctly. That set did not have Wide Guard from the original Rizabeth squad, and at the same time, there was Muddy Water, right? So a little bit of an adjustment here from Aaron. So even though it is the same 6, this is where you have to make some tweaks here, right? But the D-Knight, look, Protect here, okay, with Scale Shot, Haze, Tailwind. Okay, that team from Rizabeth had Encore on it, so that's another adjustment there. And this Goldengo with Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, Trick, and Power Gem. Okay, there was Protect here. Okay, and I like this adjustment. I never liked having Protect Scarf. I thought that was like kind of interesting, but you know, having Trick and then a move like Power Gem rather than Protect just makes a little bit more sense to me. The Sinistra is more or less the same here, but the Archaludon, right? Flash Cannon, Electroshock, Body Press, Snarl. That set is still the same, but Ryza had Terra Fighting on it, okay? This one has Terra Bug on it, which is pretty cool in itself, right? There was always a niche for Terra Bug Archaludon, right? So I like to see that change here, and they did, right? So good job, Aaron, for taking what was a popular 6 heading into this and making these adjustments here, and I like that. So that was pretty smart there. Now, did the others do that? That also used the same 6. We'll have to take a look in a second. But for what we saw already, yes. Now look at Joji over here. There's the one change where we have Incineroar over the Goldengo. So we still adapt this Sinistra Ursaluna idea, but now we add the Incin here. And the Pelipper has Weather Ball, Hurricane, Tailwind, Protect. So this one also has Tailwind. So we have 2 Tailwind setters in the Dragonite and the Pelipper here. But we still also have the Bug Archaludon. So that hasn't changed either. We have a Ghost Terra Ursaluna, by the way. Ryza had Terra Water back then, and then the Incin, of course, looks like a standard Incineroar set here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, how about this one? Look at Alex on here. What is this going to be more or less the same thing? I think so. Actually, no. So here we go. Trick, Make It Rain, Power Drill. Okay, so that's still the same, but that Terra Flying is still okay. All right, Hurricane, Muddy Water, Protect, Tailwind. Okay, that much is the same, but the Terra is different. Now we've got Ghost Terra, Pelipper. I believe Ryza had Terra Steel, if what I remember correctly. Yes, it was Terra Steel. The D-Knight here is Steel instead of Fairy. That's okay. Good adjustments here. And then the Ursaluna, of course, Terra Ghost. I like Terra Ghost Ursaluna. I think That's like the best Terra for it, in my humble opinion. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Again, you see what these people are, they're just adjusting it depending on how they see fit here. Look at this. There's the Terra fighting one. Okay, here's the protect and the trick. So this may have been the original. Okay, as I look at this, Tailwind, Muddy Water, Protect, Hurricane. Yes, exactly. Okay, so this may have been the original case from Rise of Ether, but lots of other rain teams. Okay, look at this one. So Sneasler and Indeedee here, along with Pelipper, Basculegion, Archaludon, Amoonguss. Right now, you just add Indeedee, Sneasler to this. So now you add this size spam component almost, right? And that's another way that you can play it. I like that. And then as you go down to 20th place over here from Benjamin Harlan, look at this. Now you can even add the Blood Moon here, right? Murkrow and Rillaboom. This is something that I also saw from like Limitless tournaments and whatnot. So you can have the Double Bird here with Murkrow and Pelipper, and then the Rillaboom here with the Miracle Seed stuff, along with Taunt. So this is pretty cool, right? And it's nice to see Ursaluna here instead of something like a Goldengo. So that's another way that you can also kind of consider in playing it. I do like that. That's another way to play Arc Rain. Then down here, all right, still the same stuff, right? Again, the same kind of team that we previewed in the beginning, that same solid, consistent rain team. This is it right here. Then over here at 27th, now you add the Gambit here. Don't forget, Gambit, like Goldengo, is a good solid steel type that also appreciates the rain because you can remove the fire weakness, right? So Gambit here with Black Glasses with Amoonguss support makes a lot of sense, and you still have your standard core with Arc, Pelipper, Basculegion, Amoonguss, right? And then just the Sneasler can come in even without the Indeedee. You don't need it, okay? Sneasler by itself can do what it needs to do. Now you get Fake Out Pressure, and then the Gambit also works here, right? And you can even consider Incineroar here, but the Sneasler also makes sense if you want to play towards that direction. Then a little bit further down, right here, I think it was like 58. Oh, look at, wait, let me peep this one. All right, okay, look at this, Terra Blast, Terra Water, Goldengo, right? And then this one's still the same. This is still the same also, right? Terra Fighting, Arc, okay. So Scale Shot, Haze, Extreme Speed, and Tailwind, okay, right? Along with the loaded dice. So that's also pretty cool. All right, but a little bit further down is what I was saying, right here to 50, yep, this one. So the Mouse Ape idea, so Pelipper, right? Basculegion, Amoonguss, Archaludon. Then your last two, you could do Sneasler and Indeedee, but how about Annihilape and Maushold, right? So again, this is the beat up stuff. You can beat up the Annihilape, you can beat up the Archaludon, and that's another way of playing this. That has been consistent for a couple months now, so it still works even right now if you want to play towards that direction. This one I'll cover in a separate section because it does have the Weavile, and I want to dedicate another timestamp to that. So we'll come back to that one. But this one right here, Johnny Davison, 73rd place here. Instead of Amoonguss, you can also play the Rillaboom here. So that's another way to do it. You get a little bit more offense. You get another fake out Pokemon. And you get terrain advantage on your side, which is something that Amoonguss cannot give you, right? So you can think of it like that. But notice how many different types of Arc Rain teams that did well and made Day 2 overall. The only thing, this one also has the Amoonguss here. The one that I didn't see was the Federico team, the one with Electabuzz, Rillaboom, and the Gambit. That one I have not seen, so that one is an interesting development, how you don't even see that one anywhere near Day 2 for that matter, but this is another one. Look at this. Now you have Dragonite Basculegion here as another option here if you want to play like this. How about Mystic Water Basculegion, right? So you don't lock yourself into Choice Band, and then you can also still have access to Protect. So it's like you're playing the best of both worlds, the middle ground here with this Mystic Water. But all in all, lots of different ways to play Rain, as much as Sun, maybe technically even more. Kommo keeps finding ways to top cut at the regional level, and even though it's not nearly as popular as something like Dragonite or Archaludon, there's always at least 3 or 4 Kommo teams in Day 2, and that's always interesting to me. And sometimes you can even pair this thing with Tyranitar. The whole idea is that with Overcoat, you're immune to stuff like Spore or, you know, powder stuff like Rage Powder, and then at the same time, you're not taking any damage from Tyranitar. And the reason why I think Tyranitar is also pretty decent right now is, you know, with the Sand, you're able to break Focus Sash and you're able to break Multiscale on an opposing Dragonite. And that's important in the grand scheme of things. And then you can also break stuff sash like on Whimsicott or some or even like take away Gale Wings from a Talonflame. So I do see a lot of value right now on Kommo-O Tyranitar teams, even if you don't necessarily play them together. Like there's like separately, they're still like okay. So two types of sets. You can do the Iron Defense body press stuff on the Kommo with Protect, and then this third slot is up for grabs. Usually you'll see something like Throat Chop, for example. You'll also see something like Flamethrower over here. That's also expected, but either way, the Kommo-O can go with this type of set, or it could even go with the Clangorous Scales, Clangorous Soul set, and both are fine types of ways to play the Kommo-O, right? Now, that being said, Tyranitar, again, good weather control, and at the same time, you don't have to necessarily play it with Excadrill. There were some successful Tyranitar Excadrill games, which we will spotlight in a second, but you can definitely play it without it. And that's good because that means it's very flexible and it's not limited in terms of what you can do for your team building. So if we go here, look at this. Within the top 8, Eric Schrader, okay, it is a Sand team with Excadrill, but it also has the Size Spam Duo with Indie Sneasel, and here we have the Maushold and Ninetales. So it's like 2/2/2 Sand, right? Which is interesting. And you've got Earthquake here next to Terrifying Tyranitar, and then you have the Friend Guard here with Maushold, which can make everything survive depending on their investments. But of course, you have the beat up into the Annihilate over here. So pretty cool and nice to see this type of Sand team get as far as it did within the top 8. So shout outs to Eric Schrader. Well done there. But as we scroll down, there's a couple more teams here. Like right here, here's our first Kommo-O team. Body Press, Iron Defense, Flamethrower, Protect, right? So Terrifier here, and then it's Southproof. So you don't care for Hyper Voice shenanigans from something like Primarina or another Blood Moon, for example. And then you have the screens from a Grimmsnarl over here. Again, we like Grimmsnarl. It's one of our underrated options that we spotlighted in our previous video. And then you have the King Gambit here. So you've got your Dragon Fairy Steel combo, but it's also a double Dragon team. Look at this Dragapult set. Infiltrator, Hex, Disable, Draco, Meteor, Protect. What a set from this Dragapult here. And then you got this Glamora over here. Okay, and again, we mentioned this. Toxic Debris, very important. Poison damage, but also, again, just breaking Sash, and, just chip damage over time is important. Putting things in range is going to be interesting. But other than that, like, look at this Rillaboom set here, too. Drum Beating. Okay, that's a speed control move, right? I haven't seen this tech since like Sword and Shield, Series 10 when they took out Dynamax. Seldomly used since then. Grassy Glide, High Horsepower, Fake Out, that's pretty standard. But the Drum Beating tech over something like Woodhammer, that is something there. So shout outs to Karan, very, very creative there in terms of building. And then if we go down a little bit more, we can find some more Kommo/Sand teams. How about here from Michael Zhang, 32nd place. And it looks very similar to the Sand team that we made back in like late August, early September. The only difference is, of course, the Dragon of Choosing. We put Dragonite there, right? We still revolved around the Fire Water Grass Cord, Primarina, Volcarona, and Sinistra. But here we have the Corviknight over the Excadrill, and that's also quite the interesting option here. Okay, you get Tailwind here from the Corviknight, and then at the same time, look, you got Bulk Up and Roost. So the Corviknight can become like one of your win conditions, a one-on-one scenario where you're just alternating these Bulk Ups and these Roosts, and then finally just KOing with Brave Bird. But look at this, another Body Press, Iron Defense, Throat Chop set. So Terra Steel Kommo, pretty cool. And then there's your Haze Primarina. Here's your Volcarona. But look at this Volcarona set, Covert Cloak, right? But it's Heat Wave, Rage Powder, and Struggle Ball. So a little bit more supportive when you look at this type of set. And then the Sinistra here just gives you a little bit of healing. Matcha Gotcha, Rage Powder, Shadow Ball, Hospitality. Come in and give the Kommo a little bit of a healing. Same thing with the Corviknight. T-Tar also definitely would appreciate the healing here. But this is another interesting way of playing Kommo. Michael Zhang has played Kommo's Tyranitar teams in the past. So this is like, a comfort pick for him, I would imagine. So good job there. But honestly, I would make some adjustments here. I don't know if this 6, he's a very, very strong player, but I would make a couple of adjustments Pokemon-wise. to something like this. But that being said, I do like the 6. I think it's pretty good. Then as we go down a little bit more, okay, look at this. Noah Gardner. Here's another way to play Kommo. All right, so here's the special attacking set. But look at this. Instant, Sinistra, Ursaluna, the physical one, right? So you've got the Trick Room idea with Instant and Sinistra, and then the Ursaluna can come in and be that Trick Room sweeper. Other than that, you've got Fake Out here from the Sneasler. So double Fake Out and double Redirection, all to support the setup on your Kommo over here. Another cool way to play. We did something like that, right? Remember Instant P2 Amoonguss Kommo with the Ursaluna? That was one of our rentals back in like October. So nice to see a similar idea come back over here. And then as you go a little bit further down, there was one other type of team that involved this. Yeah, there it is. This one was from Yadam Cohen and also Justin Karras here. But this one has the Tyranitar, Excadrill, Amoonguss, plus flying type here, and Kilowattrel. So competitive is good because, again, look, you want to intimidate the Excadrill and Tyranitar because once they do get intimidated, they just don't do any damage. But if you do that, you're going to make the Kilowattrel do a ton of damage here with this type of set. Choice Specs Kilowattrel competitive is going to be very devastating. You've got Discharge ideas. You've got Volt Switch and Air Slash, right? Especially if the matchup is not favorable, you can just get out of there with some chip damage with Volt Switch. Think about Regieleki, right? So what you could do technically is like lead the Excadrill with Kilowattrel and then just Volt Switch, deal some chip, go into the Tyranitar, get the sand going, and Excadrill gets the Sand Rush speed boost, and then just start cooking Iron Hands and High Horsepowers, right? So that's one kind of combination that you can always do. And pretty cool. And then look, it's another Iron Defense Body for Skill Chop Kommo here. So a little bit more of this set than the special attacking set from the Kommo. But overall, like again, it does well with sand, right? And that might be another cool archetype moving forward as we head closer to Toronto, where you can just take advantage of the sand weather and add the Kommo to it, and this way you have a couple of engines that have a good synergy with each other. And in this one over here, look at this one. It's got the Alolan-Ninetales here, and this one was from Martin Gouchon, right? I hope I said that right. But look at this Kommo team. It's another special attacking set, and you have the Aurora Veil from Ninetales, so you can always play the screen's direction, just like Grimmsnarl, and then Sinistra comes yet again. So no sand on this, but look at this. Arcanine with Howl. Okay, so there's some Arcanine usage as of late, right? And Howl's a nice little tech because unlike Coaching, Howl won't fail. Coaching can fail, but Howl, you'll always be able to get some value on this, because you're not actually quote-unquote targeting an ally. So even if that thing faints, you can still Howl yourself, and that's gonna do more damage for not only yourself, but the Samurott over here with the Assault Vest. Okay, that's a cool niche pick. And then, of course, the Sneasler here with Taunt, by the way. No Protect on the Sneasler. But you can Howl potentially both of these options here and have them do a little bit more damage. But you've got the Redirection. You've got the healing with Life Dew and Hospitality. You also have Psych up here. That's cool. And then the Ninetales here just gives you Screens and Encore. You've got not double. You have a Fake Out user here. You also have Hazards here with the Ceaseless Edge. So again, breaking Sash and potential multi-skill stuff. And then the Arcanine here with Snarl and Will-O-Wisp and Intimidate. So very supportive Arcanine set. And again, just clicking Howl, making some of these physical options do a little bit more damage. So all in all, a lot of support and a lot of status inflictions. And that's really important when you want to have a good, solid competitive team that'll give you the edge over something else. And again, you also have Icy Wind here. You have Encore, good disruption here with Encore and Taunt, and the healing is evident there. So all in all, Kommo, pretty cool pick on a lot of different teams right now. Speaking of the Ninetales, there were a lot of the Ninetales teams, and even though it's the fastest weather setter, which can sometimes be quote unquote a disadvantage if you're trying to overtake weather, the fact that you have a faster weather setter means you get to go first in terms of battle, and that could be important. And of course, a lot of the support tools that Ninetales gets is quite valuable. So if we take a look here, all right, starting from the top, we have a couple of Ninetales teams, but you get a little bit more within the 8-3 bracket, I would say. So nothing here in Top Cut, actually. But if you go down here, right here, Jake Muller, Dondozo, Tatsugiri here with the droopy form. Tatsugiri, might I add. But look at this Ninetales. Not only is it weather, but it's a damage dealer here with choice specs. You know, with Blizzard, Moonblast, Freeze Dry, Dazzling Gleam. So you have a single target and a spread move here in terms of your fairy type attack. And then, of course, the Dondozo, Tatsugiri. And then you got these three homies with Sneasel, Gambit, and Rillaboom. Arguably your top 6 Pokemon. 3 of their top 6, even though Rillaboom has dropped off a little bit. But that's one type of Ninetales. And then after that, right under him, Grant, right here, this is the Sneasel, Ceruledge, Dragonite trio, you know, with the coaching boost and the bulk up and the scale shots. And then the Ninetales just makes the entire team bulkier with Aurora Veil. And then you've got Gambit and the Electabuzz. Of course, a very patented combination, you know, with the taunt and the follow me. And then just making sure that Gambit stays fine. And, you know, having the electric coverage into something like Azard, especially like Terra Ghost here. You can redirect close combats away. Or even just not have to worry too much about taking damage, you know, on some of your allies here. So that's also pretty cool stuff from Grant here. Opting for the screens as opposed to like a water type or maybe even Rillaboom. So that's one way to play it. Then this one right here, Typhlosion Choice Scarf, which means no Tailwind here, but you do get Aurora Veil, okay? And that's one thing that you can take some solace in here, but there's the Sneasel, there's the Rillaboom and Dragon. But what's interesting here is that you also have the Indeedee. So you have 2 terrains here, but only the Grassy Seed Rillaboom idea will give you the bonus here. But look at this. This is Muscle Band Rillaboom. Holy smokes. I don't think I've ever seen Muscle Band Rillaboom. That is an item. That is a tech choice. And then down here, look, another Dozogiri team here that also has the screens Ninetales here. So we see a couple Dondozo teams, but not all that many. They're far and few, but you know they're still like somewhat around. How about this one right here, from Audi, right? Right. This looks like the Justin Tang, Chongjun Peng team, right? You know, with the Mirror Herb Arcanine, inspired from the Japanese Global Challenge team here, right? So that's also pretty cool. Again, it's Auroville, Encore, Blizzard, Icy Wind. I love that set. That's like my favorite set because you get screens, you get disruption, and you get speed control. And then you have 1 spread move damage. That's like my favorite set, even though there's no protect. Then as we go down here, look at this from Pengi. So not only is he bringing the Garganacl again, and not only did he do well with it again, but now again, the screens from the Ninetales here, at Aurora Veil, Blizzard, and Freeze Ray. No Encore, no Icy Wind, but still single end spread damage here with the Never Melt Ice. So we're looking for damage here on this Ninetales. But the Moranga Berry Garganacl is crazy. And then Terra Flying also to dodge not only the fighting weakness, but also the ground weakness too, right? You resist fighting type attacks that would normally be super effective, and the ground type attacks gets whiffs, right? So good. That's a good Terra on the Garganacl. Those are its main weaknesses. And then, you know, also grass. Like you also get to resist grass. So, you know, Garganacl has something pretty cool here. And again, Stealth Rock, like we mentioned earlier, just like when we featured Stealth Rock Clefairy, great at breaking Sash, great at breaking multi-scale, does a lot of damage into a lot of the fire types that are running around, and that's important. And you know, Salt Cure with Recover is annoying to have to deal with. Remember how annoying this was in Regulation A? So good on Pengi to pick up on that with Garganacl. But anyway, this is a Ninetales section of the video. What am I doing? All right, how about this one? Adam Coulson here. More Sneasel, Dragonite Balance stuff, but again, Blizzard, Ice Wind Free. Yep, that's the set. That's the set that we like here. Make your entire Sneasel Balance team super bulky by just going with this Aurora Veil. You don't have a ton of speed control here, but you do have active Scale Shot. Okay, you do have Unburden. Oh, okay, no, you don't have Burden. You have Poison Touch, but you still have a little bit of Icy Wind. But even if you don't have so much speed control, that's okay. You still have Redirection and Double Fake Outs, and you still have the screens to help you, like, you know, compensate a little bit. And that's kind of how I view it in that sense. You know, sometimes you don't need all the speed control in the world. As long as you have other tools, you'll be okay. You can get around it. As we keep going here, is there any others? We already previewed Martin's team. All right, a little bit more. I think that was that the last? No, there's one right here from Alberto. Oh yeah, Alberto. Yeah, I was wondering when we see him. So he's still rocking this Corviknight stuff with Chomp. Okay, and there's the Covert Cloak Ninetales with Misty Terrain. There's the tech. That's the thing that you can use to get around Sneasler, right? The status stuff, especially Amoonguss, make dragon type attacks weak against you, so Garchomp can live to tail the tail, right? So that's pretty cool. And again, just depends on how you want to use your Ninetales here. Helping Hand's also pretty nice if you want to make your allies just do a little bit more damage. But good weather control, good status, inflation, not status, but good disruption with Encore / disable, and then speed control with Icy Wind. And then just the benefit is the screens, just making your entire team bulky and ruining a lot of damage calcs. Now I want to talk about Weavile again. Remember when we made our video here the day before, all right, 10 sleeper picks that you can do, and we even like previewed Weavile even before this video, and lo and behold, it actually had some really solid results, and that's good because again, the whole point of Weavile is that you are faster than Sneasler, right? Which means you have a faster fake out, okay? And this Dark Ice typing is actually really good right now because you have access to cool moves, right? You have Ice Spinner, right? You get to blow up terrain, blow up Rillaboom, blow up Indeedee terrain. Then you also have access to beat up, right? And that's good if you're partnered with stuff like Archaludon or into the Annihilate, right? So you can beat up either option here. And, Pickpocket is also pretty cool, right? You can steal an item this way if they make contact, which is really nice. Then you still also get stuff like Knockoff, right? We can remove a key item. And if you don't do the Ice Spin around, you can also go speed control with Icy Wind. And that's also really convenient. Just giving yourself speed control, breaking sash, breaking multi-scale, all those kinds of things. And that's useful. Okay, so what are the teams that were able to use Weavile? Let's take a look here. So if we go up right about here, 41st place from Pranav Sharma. Look at this team. So there it is. There's the Focus Sash. There's the Pickpocket. Knockoff, Beat Up, Fake Out, Icy Wind. There we go. So there's the Speed Control. There's the Fake Out. There's the Rage Fist Enableization with the Beat Up. And then, of course, Knockoff being the Dark Stab that you can use to remove key items here. And this is Ursaluna Blood Moon stuff with Magmar and Rillaboom. So this is pretty cool. But nice to see Weavile over here as a secondary fake out user with Rillaboom. I think this is pretty cool. And again, just making sure that your main sweeper options are supported. That's what Weavile is supposed to do here. Give me the support here by clicking fake out, giving me the speed advantage, and removing key items. That's what we want Weavile to do on our teams here. So as you scroll down, there's actually 2 more Weavile teams. Yeah, actually technically 3, but there's 2 back-to-back right here. 62nd, 63rd place from Abigail and Simon. Look at this. This one has Archaludon. So look at this. You've got Beat Up and Fake Out, of course. Then you have Ice Spinner, like we mentioned, to blow up terrain, and then Knock Off to be able to remove key items. So no Protect. That's for wusses. Just give me Terra Ghost, and I'll be totally fine. But look at this standard core. Instead of Instant, we have Weavile over here. We've seen this before. We previewed that before. So that's pretty good, right? And then over this, right here from Simon, it's the Chomp, Magmar, Rillaboom, Goldango stuff. Again, this is something that we've seen already. Scale Shot Garchomp, by the way. Okay? Scale Shot Garchomp, right? Is that what we saw? No, we didn't see that here, right? But again, nice to see Scale Shot Garchomp, right? You don't necessarily see Garchomp in general, but nice to see it over here. But again, there's some use for it, right? You want to try and get around the Dragonite stuff. So if you can go first with your own Scale Shot, that can be pretty funny. And then Terra Fairy too, right? So this way you don't get Scale Shotted in itself. But Knock Off, Fake Out, Icy Wind, Beat Up. All right, there's your set for Weavile. Okay. Then there's another one down here at 93rd. Even though it was 5 and 3, same thing. Triple Axle though. Okay, so a ramp up ice move. And then Knock Off and Fake Out. So no Icy Wind here or anything like that. But you do have Protect, right? Which is cool. So that means you get to potentially keep your Focus Sash, and not have to get double targeted per se. But yeah, so again, good use of Weavile. I think it's a really nice option, if you don't want to go with the Incineroar idea. And if you have something like Magmar, yeah, definitely consider something like Weavile. I think the support options that it has is good, and you outspeed Caesar, which is like a huge selling point. All right, your Porygon Balance teams, right, with P2, Instant, Amoonguss, and Ursaluna. This archetype is still going strong even right now. These last 2 slots are up for grabs. Usually you'll see something like Vivian over here, but if you don't, then you'll see something like Goldango, Tyranitar, or another dragon like Dragapult or even Kommo to an extent. But this is always like your patented for right now. Sometimes you may even see Sinistra here, but Amoonguss is still like very, very solid. So let's take a look at some of those teams. So if you scroll down here to 28th place from Shrey, yeah, look, there it is. There's the Vivillon and Amoonguss, and then there is the Goldengo over here with the nasty plot setup here. So Sleep Powder, right? Tailwind. So Disruption, status and speed control here. And then here's your Amoonguss that can do the same stuff. And then the P2 Instant, there's your Trick-Room Setter, and then you have your sweeper here with the Ursaluna. So of course we're getting the standard stuff out of that. But then as we keep going down here, we'll see another one here at 35th from Ryan Haig. Look at that. Instant, Amoonguss, Vivillon, Goldengo, P2, same thing, right? So the build has not changed. It's still solid. It's still consistent. And that means it's still getting the job done, which is good. That's what we want out of it. Right over here, 48th place from Anthony Londergan. But look at this one. Now we have the Mienshao. I've seen this a little bit. It's inner focus, right? So no Intimidate, no Fake Out for you. Knockoff and Ice Spinner and Wide Guard. That's huge. Okay, that's important. And again, the Ice Spinner tech out of the Mienshao, blowing up terrain, and just having these cool moves, right? No Fake Out here, just Close Combat and Wide Guard as your other two moves. So that's pretty smart there from Anthony. I wonder how much they brought the Mienshao to this regional, but this is pretty cool. Look at this, a substitute Ursaluna, by the way. I like that. And after that, it's AV Instant with Flare Blitz, Knockoff, U-Turn, Fake Out. So no Parting Shot. Instead, it is U-Turn. Okay, that's cool against, like Psychic types in general, or Dark types, where you can just deal big damage to them. Imagine the Sneasler, Terra Dark options. You can just U-Turn out of that and, just repivot and reposition yourself. So I do like that. That's a pretty cool build there with Anthony. Nice set out of the Mienshao. But a little bit further down, same thing right here. Mr. Ian Lee, look at this. There's Goldengo. There's Sneasler with coaching. Well, who are we coaching? We coaching the Porygon. We coaching Instant and Ursaluna. Look at this. AV Instant yet again with the U-Turn tech. This might even be Adamant 116 Instant. We'll have to see, but it is a more standard Ursaluna. No substitute there. And then as we scroll all the way down, then we'll see another P2 Balance team. Okay, there's not like so much, but there is like they're running around, and this one is a little bit more standard. This is every single other P2 Balance team with the Vivillon and the Goldengo here with the Life Orb nasty plot stuff. So all in all, lesson here is that the P2 Balance team, it's still going okay. How about Hydreigon having a couple of appearances here in this regional? So we got to see James Beck bring this to LAIC, but that was like one Hydreigon. But now we have a couple here, and it's interesting because, again, the Snarl from Hydreigon is very devastating against something like a Goldengo, something like a Blood Moon or Ursaluna now, okay? And then even something like Archaludon does not want to be taking Snarls because, yes, it might get, the body press stuff, but if it's hitting like a wet noodle, then that's really all you have besides the body press. And these Hydreigons, they're going Terra Ghost here, so you can't even click that. And you can click your other moves, but they're just not going to be doing that much damage if you have the pressure from Snarl. And then as a Dark type, okay, that's pretty good into the Zard because, again, the Zard can't really hit you that hard, especially if you have this Assault Vest set going for you. And it may have a Dragon move, but again, you also have Terra for it, and then you can also just Snarl the Zard entirely. So the Hydreigon got some stuff going for it. And then Levitate, so he can't even click a ground move, right? So good synergy with something like this, where if I add Garchomp to this, okay, Garchomp, Hydreigon, Goldengo, a very old core back then in Regulation H, still having an impact even right now. So that's nice to see. And at the same time, other Ursalunas can't hit you for a ground move. So that's pretty cool. And if they want to Facade, this is where you click Terra Ghost, and now that gets whiffed, right? So I like that. So where did we see Hydreigon here? Right here at 5th place from David Huntner. So look at this. It's a Choice Specs Hydreigon with Pelipper and Palafin. Look at this. This is a Hydreigon Rain team. All right, nice to see Palafin come back. Haze, Palafin, Wavecraft. It's a standard set, but other than like the first couple weeks of August / early September with Palafin, it's not used all that much. People went straight to Primarina because they wanted a good fairy type along with the Haze, and Palafin just fell, and now we see it get picked up again and have a very, very strong, solid result here. But look at this. It's Snarl, Hydreigon with Specs, Earth Power, Draco Meteor, and Dark Pulse. So Earth Power really good. You don't need Heat Wave here. You're in the range, so Earth Power is your next best option there. So that's a cool set on the Hydreigon. But there were a couple more, and there's one right here, right? So look at this. You have 1 and 2 Hydreigons here within top 8. So that's really cool. Kalen Brown, right? Look at this. It's not Pelipper, but it's Instant P2 Amoonguss, okay, with Goldango. So this is almost like P2 Balance like we just covered. This is the reason why I didn't cover it then, because I wanted to save it for the Hydreigon section. But you've got Tailwind and Snarl on this Hydreigon. So this is your speed control. And this is the core that we just spoke about. Goldango, Amoonguss, Garchomp. Then you add the Amoonguss, okay? And now you've got a very old school regulationH team. And now you just add something like Incineroar and Porygon. And now you've got your Hydreigon Balance, P2 Balance, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it makes sense. So some good synergy options here. So I like this a lot. Covert Cloak Amoonguss is pretty cool. But yeah, 2 Hydreigon teams within the top 8 is very noteworthy. But there was at least one more. But I wanted to see if I missed one in the middle before I get to that one. Okay, and again, remember how we said how Garchomp fell off, but like it has some results here and there. It's not like complete paper. Like it's still within like top 20/30. How about this one here at 43rd place for me and Holderman? Look at this. Hydreigon, Amoonguss, Goldango. Okay, there it is. And no Garchomp, but you do get Dragonite here. So another kind of double dragon idea, because again, this D9 has Tailwind, and this is a Specs Hydreigon. So if I can get off my Tailwind, Goldango's going to love that, and so is Hydreigon here with the choice specs. Dark Pulse, Draco, Earth Power, and Snarl. You got to have Snarl. Snarl is just so good, because look at this. You've got your physical attack damage reduction, then you can get special attack damage reduction with Snarl. So you can even just lead Incineroar and Hydreigon here and just go for complete damage reduction, right? Just Parting Shot / Snarl, right? And then the opponent is just not going to like that at all. So this is a really cool team with Ian. A lot of good defensive ideas here, especially with the Amoonguss at the same time. Yeah, another fake out user in the Sneasler. You've got Haze on your Dragonite too. You're killing. You're cooking, because look, even if you click Draco Meteor here, right, and you get the special attack damage reduction, you could just click Haze and just wipe all that away. Same thing with Goldango. Just haze all your worries away, right? So pretty cool stuff here from Ian. All right, so shout outs to them. That's really nice. Now, there was another one that I also wanted to look at here. It's right around here, almost like the last team here. I think it was, right? Yeah, it is, right? 6-5 here. So a little, hey, look, you got into day 2. That's all that really matters, right? If you're this guy, Ryan Mickelson here. But look at this. Garchomp, Hydreigon, Goldango, no Amoonguss, but you've got the Sing Clefairy with Friendguard. Oh my goodness. You got the Sing Life Doof Clefairy Friendguard here. And then the Whimsicott is your Tailwind setter instead of something like a Talonflame. All right, Tailwind, Whimsicott, Encore helping on Moonblast. Okay, cool. Then you slap on a Sneasler. You might as well. #1 used Pokemon in the format. But nice to see Hydreigon come alive at this point in the meta. I think we'll see a little bit more of it moving forward. Yeah, look, if you want a cool sleeper pick, you go with Hydreigon. Remember, we spoke about this in this video, right? The Hydreigon got an honorable mention, right? So we saw the potential, okay? And now we see the results, within Sacramento. Okay, now we're at the point of the video where I want to look at some other cool teams and some other cool, interesting niche options that had some cool results in the region, because this is always what we love to see, right? People finding hidden gems in the rub. Okay, but even before that, there was one other like top team that I didn't get to talk about, and that was the fourth place team over here from Akil Goel. Look at this. You've got Corviknight and Archaludon here with Chomp, Sneasler, and Instant Amoonguss. So here's your defensive backbone. AB Instant yet again. Assault Vest Incineroar. This is pretty cool. I may want to do like a whole video on this, because AB Instant did have a good turnout here, and it's worth discussing in a future video. But look at this. So of course it's going to be a power up set. There's no Pelipper here, but Corviknight here, it's Brave Bird, Tailwind, Roost, and Taunt. Okay, no bulk up here. Nope, Iron Defense Body Press. It's just Tailwind, Roost, and Taunt. Okay, and again, Garchomp loves Corviknight too. All right, another Earthquake target that you can always click next to. But again, another double dragon idea that is it normally like standard? Like something, maybe even like Terra Grass could be work. Could work here, could be work. But we have Terra Dragon Archaludon. So that in itself is very, very interesting. But yeah, like look at this. Maybe we'll see more of this moving forward, but that was pretty cool. But there's some other options here that I also want to look at, especially some of the niche tech that we missed, but we always do our best to not miss them, right? So the first one here is I want to look for that Abomasnow team, but if I find something else in the middle, I will spotlight it. See, this would be a little bit easier if I had you know, Lab Mouse, but I don't have it at this moment here. So look at this Abomasnow from Brandon Davis. We've got, of course, the Snow Warning. I haven't seen Abomasnow in many different regulations. It's been maybe over a year. Okay, here we go. Blizzard. Okay, Leaf Storm and Earth Power. So there's your two tech choices that, you know, that you're not getting from something like a Ninetales here, right? And, you know, having grass coverage is valuable if you consider the ground types running around. Okay, now you can't click Blizzard, but Leaf Storm is a single target grass move that's going to do a lot. And if they want to bring Rillaboom into you, that's bad because one, that's going to boost your Leaf Storm damage. Two, the Rillaboom is going to come into Blizzard. Okay, and then Earth Power as a nice niche tech move here. And remember, we talked about this before. There's a lot of Pokemon within the top 12 that are weak to ground moves. So not only are they weak to Ursaluna, they're weak to this Earth Power. So this is pretty cool. Nice to see Abomasnow get an appearance here. So shout out to Brandon Davis for coming up with that. Would love to play it in a rental. We've spotlighted already the Mienshao and the Bronzong, so that was really cool. But look at this one right below it, Joshua. Right, we've got the Sylveon. There's more than one Sylveon team here, by the way. So I wanted to also look at this. You know, this format, we haven't had too many like quote unquote fairies, unless you're like Terra Blast, Terra Fairy. But look at Sylveon here, finally getting some play at this point in Regulation H. Terra Blast, Shadow Ball, Hyper Beam. Okay, and you know that's going to be a fairy move too, and then Hyper Voice here. Look, but you got Garchomp, Talonflame, Goldango, right? Your Holy Grail 3, your classic early Regulation H or even Regulation A duo or trio rather, and then you add Glamora here. But then you add Sneasler, and then more importantly, you add Sylveon instead of something like Primarina. So this is interesting in itself, and you get the ghost coverage too. So nice ideas here. Nice to see Sylveon used in something like that kind of a stretch. But other than that, there was another Sylveon team, but we'll see if we can find... Yeah, there it is. Emilio Ford. Welcome back, Emilio, by the way. It's been a hot minute since we've seen them, you know, in live competition, but this is it. Yet again, here we go. Talonflame, Goldango. No Garchomp here, though, but we do have the Fairy Feather Sylveon with Hyper Voice and Substitute here, along with the Terra Blast. Right, if they do Terra. So sub Sylveon, you've got the support from the Mousehold here. You've got the Hyper Voice spam, and then at the same time, look, you've got the Annihilate. But interesting enough, it's not beat up. It's just Super Fang Taunt Follow Me. This Annihilate is Sash with Final Gambit. Okay, you still got the coaching stuff, you know, into your own Dragonite. So I understand that, but man, look at this. But all in all, nice to see this type of team, you know, do this well. So shout out to Amelia, man. Welcome back. Okay, as we keep going down, there's a couple other stuff I also wanted to look at there. How about this Doug team here? This is like one of my favorite Doug teams because you got Screens, Grimmsnarl, and you got Volcarona here. So I like this a lot. We even made this team for Keanu, and he got like 8-3 results, and it was like top 4 within a trainer school tournament. So hopefully Keanu can give us that rental, so this way we can show it off because those were our spreads too. But as we go even further down, look at this one. Joshua, Diamond, Cyclizar, Grimmsnarl. Look at this Grimmsnarl set. Spirit Break, Assurance, Parting Shot, Thunderwave. Oh my goodness. That is a set. Then you've got Dondozo Tatsugiri. One of the few Dozo Tatsugiri teams. We showed you like at least 3 of them. Here's the 4th one. But the Cyclizar Shedtail. You use Shedtail and you go into Dondozo, man. So now this Dondozo is essentially behind the substitute here, right? And then the Tatsugiri can just, again, it's a Scarf set, Icy Window, you know, very standard Tatsugiri set. Then you got Palmon here that can bring this stuff back. Man. And then the Grimmsnarl here with Parting Shot, that's annoying, okay? And then you can just Parting Shot into Tatsugiri, right? So, that's kind of that is a combination. Yeah, I see a lot of stuff here. Okay, so shout outs to Josh for this type of stuff. If there is a rental, I want to use this. So Joshua, if you're watching this, I want to use this rental. Okay, there's at least like 10 rentals here that I want to use. Okay, Matthew Nielsen, another Nielsen brother. Wait a second, there's 3. Wait a second, I thought they were all like EU. There's another one. Okay, anyway. We've got Gardevoir here. Normally you see stuff like Gardevoir with Garchomp, because again you can Earthquake next to it because of telepathy, but this is not that kind of Gardevoir. This is Trace Gardevoir with E-Force, Dazzling Gleam, Mystical Fire, and Protect. Where is the Indeedee? Where is the Psychic Terrain to help me do expanding force damage? That is crazy. But 6-5, that's a pretty cool result. All things considered. And there's another one. So remember how we also spotlighted Greninja in our previous video? Again, sleeper picks, right? So Greninja, where are you? I know I saw you here. First, I want to look at this team. Oh my God, look at this. What is this? Yo, Alvin, you are crazy. There is a Noivern team here with telepathy, Super Fang, Draco Tail, and Tone. Oh my God, Topsy Turvy Malamar. Listen, this is a team. This is taking the take for the craziest team this weekend. Look at this. Wow. Oh man. That is a squad. Where is that Greninja team? Okay, I'm gonna look for it a little bit. If I scroll down, I'm sure there we go. Well, this is one of them, right? Nicholas, right? I think this is the squad too, right? Nick, because Catherine also uses, so like Greninja, we talked about this. Water Shuriken, Rain Dance, Protect, Taunt, and then your standard core here with Pelipper, Archaludon, Basculation, and Amogus, right? Then you've got the Annihilate here. This is the one that is like the weird one here, but it makes sense. Again, Choice Scarf, Final Gambit, nuke something. Okay, nuke something, get rid of it. Then you've got Close Combat, Rage Fist, U-Turn. But again, normally you have something like Haste here, but they're opting for Clear Smog and the Amogus, but Taunt and Rain Dance. So fast Rain Dance, and then Water Shuriken, really, really good. Again, Greninja, Incineroar for sure. Not bad. And again, you are you fat? I think you're fat. Yeah, you. Let me check that speed tier. Yeah, 122, right? You do outspeed the Sneasel, which is important, right? So nice to see Greninja come into play here. I knew it had potential, right? That's why we spoke about it. It's just like, is someone willing to like pilot it and do what it needs to do? But yeah, again, like there were some pretty cool teams here. Like we talked about some of them earlier, but nice to always give some love to the tech stuff. But let's look at this last one right here from Luna, 7-4 team. Look, we got some Salamence play here. Salamence and Palafin yet again here. And this is Ice Punch Palafin, the tech. All right. We remember when we did one of our battle videos, Close Combat Palafin, man. That almost beat me, but did not beat me. All right, anyway, Salamence here with the specs, Draco Meteor, Dragon Pulse, Hurricane. Look at this. Special Ments. I love this. Grassy Seed, Volcarona. And then, oh my God, it is Gunk Shot, Substitute, Sneasler. No Dire Claw. Who is this person? And how do I meet them? Wait, you guys saw this, right? Look at this. Gunk Shot, no Dire Claw. What was the thought process for Gunk Shot, Sneasler? I understand the Mirror Ribbons. This has to be from Japan. There is no way that we're playing this, right? And then this is not like something from Japan. There is absolutely no way. I need receipts. Okay, I absolutely need some receipts. But there is a few Salamence, this weekend. And again, it's another dragon that can do well. How about this one, Aiden Shah? All right, this is all right. Now we got Volcarona and Premier stuff. Goldengo, Gambit, 2 steel types. You very rarely see Goldengo and Gambit on the same team. And here's our Sneasler here. But again, Tailwind Ments, special Ments here. But there's always going to be some niche for Salamence overall. But it's not as good as some of the other dragons, but it's not terrible. And the one-back Scalper team here from Tristan. Snowback's Balance. Instead, we're just slapping this onto Archaludon. Another double dragon idea that's a little bit strange when you think about it, because it's not your usual double dragon team. but you've got Murkrow and Pelipper here with Rillaboom. We've seen this before. And then now you add the Gambit here instead of something like Goldengo here. But backs with loaded dice, Stomping Tantrum, Scale Shot, Icicles, okay. Spear and Scale Shot we understand, but Stomping Tantrum, that is your tech, along with high horsepower, of course. To double ground covers there. But yeah, all right. So let's go back to our main screen here and let's get you guys out of here. All right, that's it for now for our recap from Sacramento. Let me know what you thought of the regional. Let me know if there's something that we missed. And again, if you're still trying to play Regulation H, if you still have something to play for, even though there's like basically 1 month left, and you need a little bit of help, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a one-on-one team building session with us, and we can help you build a team that you need to take to a regional. Maybe you need help for Toronto. Maybe you need help for another regional elsewhere, like maybe it's Stuttgart. We've been able to help a lot of people get CP throughout Regulation H, and we continue to do so. So if you need some last-minute help, make sure you sign up. If you look in the video description below, there is a link to join the channel with that Tier 3 sub. And if you look in the comment section, there is a pinned comment where you can join the channel with that Tier 3 sub. And then from there, we'll meet one-on-one. We'll start and we'll build you a squad, and then we get to test it a little bit. We'll talk about matchups, of course. Everything that we can do to, make your last month of Regulation H a happy and a pleasant one. All right, but that's it. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.